And we're on the air in 3, 2, 1.
Speedy TV. Live from Paralyzed Veterans of America's Health Summit.
Delivering excellence, achieving state-of-the-art healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Day 3 coverage of the Summit and Expo 2013 here in Orlando, Florida. I'm Nick Bacoy for Speedy TV. So today we'll be speaking with even more sponsors and more attendees, but first I caught up with Dr. Paul Gutierrez, who helped organize the entire program this year.
Welcome back. I'm with Dr. Paul Gutierrez, who's the program committee chairman of this whole conference that you've been viewing for the past couple of days. Great to have you with us, Paul.
Great to be here. It's really been a wonderful conference so far, and we got a lot to go.
Can you talk about a little bit about what you do for this conference and what you do day to day?
Well, for the conference, as a program chairman committee, I sort of organize the group. We have a group of about 12 people who help solicit speakers for the conference and then also do judging of the abstracts that are submitted for it, and kind of try to put together a very comprehensive program that's interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary so that it's good for physicians, nurses, for other allied health professionals like the social workers and the psychologists. We want something that's good for everybody, and so we have to have a varied program that takes into account what all those people do and how they work together. So we have interdisciplinary conference sessions as well as ones that are more geared to specific professions too.
How do you go through the process of allowing different speakers to come here and teach about things?
Well, one of the things that we do, there's a announcement that goes out through email and different media to let people in the profession know that the conference is happening and that we're soliciting speakers. So we do kind of open it up to anybody who's interested in presenting. They have to create an abstract, and there's guidelines that are available on the website that show people exactly what they should be thinking about presenting. And then we're very open to new and different ideas. We want state-of-the-art programs, and we want something that everybody can learn from, best practices that people can adopt. So they go through a process of having to submit an abstract, and what we try to do, because a lot of us know each other in the profession, we blind all of those. So when they submit it with their names on it, but when we actually go to judge them, we don't know who's submitted it.
So there's no favoritism or anything?
Well, we try not to. I can't say there's none, but we do our best to minimize the favoritism.
Is there any sort of innovation or technology or speaker that you are specifically looking forward to hearing about this summit?
Most of the really great technology stuff is even in the expo portion of it. Mm-hmm. So the vendors who have these new equipments, one of our plenary speakers was Rory Cooper, who comes from the University of Pittsburgh. And that's already happened, so I did see that presentation. It was fantastic, all about innovative things, robotics that are there to be in the veterans or anybody with spinal cord injury, their homes, things to help them manage their day-to-day activities that make it simpler for them and quicker for them to go about their daily business.
So I know you guys might be starting to plan for next year. What kinds of things will we see at the summit, next year or the year after?
Well, we are looking. We always want to have. We have tracks for multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury, and ALS. So we definitely want to get submissions in all of those areas. And just what is the newest and the latest in the MS area? There's new medications coming out. So lots of us are still learning how to use those and what's the most appropriate way to use them. For spinal cord injury, we have a new leader in the VA system. So we were fortunate enough to have him speak this year, and then what are his goals and stuff for those of us who work in that system in the future.
So why should people come to this conference as a sponsor or a clinician? Why should everybody be here?
Well, the one thing about this conference that is very unique is because it combines all these different areas. So it really has a huge focus in persons in wheelchairs, and just their the treatments that they have, that we have available for them, state-of-the-art treatments, what's coming in the future. But it has something for everybody, and a lot of us actually cross disciplines, so we take care of all of those area. But if you have just a specialty in multiple sclerosis, there's enough here for that to just go to those talks. And if you're really just spinal cord injury, you can look at all those, just see those talks. But you have a lot of variety and a lot of opportunity to learn new things about your area or other areas that may be related to it.
So what drives you to keep on doing the work that you do?
Well, I started my career as a neurologist, and when I started my career as a neurologist, there wasn't much you could do for people. It was diagnose and adios, as we like to say. And so getting into the spinal cord injury field, even though we don't cure people, we make their lives better. And we do things to get them out into the community, to rehabilitate them, and to make them, as the Marines like to say, be all you can be. And that's the exciting thing about the field that we're in. And doing that, seeing the technology, seeing the medications, and just ideas of how to maximize your potential is just a fantastic
That's fantastic.
thing.
Oh, it has to be very rewarding. Well, thanks for speaking with us. Do you have any final things to say to our viewers at home?
Well, we're starting to get ready for next year, so if you have something that you'd like to present at this conference for next year, we'd love to have you. You'll be seeing announcements about the abstract submission coming out in email and different media outlets, so we'll get that out to you, but start thinking about your presentations now and get them ready.
It's all about preparation. Thanks for speaking with us, and have a great rest of the summit.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'm at another sponsor booth. There's so many sponsor booths at the PVA Summit 2013, and I'm speaking with Midge Wilson at Hollister. Midge, how you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Great show, a lot of great people here, meeting a lot of wonderful people.
Is this your first time here at the Summit and Expo?
Actually, nope. This is our third time actually. Yeah.
So since the beginning, can you talk a little bit about what Hollister does, the kind of products that they have and the services that they offer?
Mm-hmm. Hollister Incorporated has been in business for over 90 years, and right now we manufacture products for bowel care, people who have bowel and bladder diversions, people who have neurogenic bladders, so catheter needs, people who have incontinence issues, and people who have chronic wounds.
You guys have been in business for 90 years. What kind of products did you have 90 years ago?
Actually, over 90 years ago, John Dickinson Snyder started the Hollister, he started John Dickinson Snyder Printing Company. And it wasn't until the 40s when he got into printing birth certificates for the babies, with the little feet on and what have you. That was the introduction into healthcare. And it was around that time that he changed the name from John Dickinson Snyder Incorporated to Hollister Incorporated.
It's really interesting. The entire company morphed into this thing, and you guys are doing great things.
And it did indeed. It's one of those kinds of things that one of his employees at the time came up to him and said, I have a relative who has a colostomy, and back then in the early 50s and what have you, they were just a mess. And so could you help us develop something for people in this state? So he got his resources together, and that's what he started with, actually making ostomy pouches and so forth. And today we're one of the leading manufacturers around the world of that kind of device.
Oh, that's a great story. I see you have a few products over here. Can you speak a little bit about, I see this is a catheter device?
Right. What I have here is a closed system catheter, and it's meant for people who have neurogenic bladders and have to catheterize their bladders maybe 4 to 6 times a day. The nice thing about a closed system like this is the fact that it's all contained, so they have to work at contaminating it. Putting a catheter into a bladder, you really want the most sterile system that you can, because otherwise people wind up with urinary tract infections and so forth. So with this device, it's user-friendly because people even with limited dexterity can take it off with just a finger. They could pull it off with their teeth. They push the catheter through a protective introducer tip, if you will. This goes into the urethra first, and then the catheter is passed so that they miss all the bacteria that's just at the entryway to the urethra. So it's kept as sterile as possible. And here again, they're not handling the catheter because they're manipulating it through the bag.
Okay. So it's very safe to use.
They're very safe to use, yes, absolutely. And people who have been using this tell us that their rate of urinary tract infections has just plummeted because it's so hygienic. Absolutely. So this is one of our featured products. And the thing about Hollister is that the products that we make are differentiated. It's not that they have more bells and whistles, but they have other features that have benefits that make life easier for people.
Right.
Absolutely. So
I see this backpack here. Can you talk a little bit about that and the program involving this?
Absolutely. Hollister is not all about just making and selling products. We're not about the bottom line. We completely service everything that we make. In fact, we offer services for people who don't even use our products. We have a lot of education services, and the bag that you pointed out, this backpack, this is available through what we call our Secure Start program.
Okay.
And it's a program that either clinicians can enroll patients in or patients can enroll themselves for support.
Wow.
And as I mentioned before, they don't even need to use Hollister products to be part of this. So they get education about the products that they are using, the lifestyle issues. They're complete with booklets, pictorial guides for use. We have DVDs, a whole host of things that they can ask for to assist them in doing their procedures better, or if they have multiple caregivers, new caregivers, to teach these people how to help these people help themselves and so forth. So if somebody is interested in Hollister products or education after they leave rehab, or at any time actually, and they would like some things from us, they'll get this backpack, which is very user-friendly, with big rings so that people with limited dexterity can open the zippers and so forth. Makes it very nice for them. And in here will be whatever products they want, the samples that they want, probably a week's worth of supplies, educational books.
So it's kind of like an overall, like a starter kit, a lot of different things that people with spinal cord injuries would need.
Absolutely.
So if people wanted to enroll in this program, how can they do that? Is there a website or anything that they can go to?
Right, they can go to hollister.com, and on there you'll probe North America, you'll probe United States, you'll probe Continence Care, and in there you'll see Secure Start. Probe on there, and it gives you complete information about doing that.
Perfect. That's a great program. Can you talk a little bit about how you started working with the PVA?
We got an invitation 3 years ago. Would Hollister like to be here? We thought, we've never been engaged before, so let's give it a shot. Personally, I'm involved with the PVA and the DAV and all these various things because of my family history of being in the service and so on. So I'm a great supporter to begin with. So I personally was pleased to come here. But with our first time here, it's like, oh my gosh, there are some people here that have just really taught us a lot about what they need and so forth, and it's helped us actually to develop future programs. So as I said, after the next year we were happy to come back. We're actually a silver sponsor and happy to do so.
So you learn a lot from people coming up to the booth, giving you feedback and kind of picking your brain, and that back and forth give and take goes into future products coming from Hollister.
Products and services. And actually, as I was telling Elizabeth earlier today about a program that I'm just developing called our Ambassador Program. And it's where people who are spinal cord injured have a chance to tell their story of success despite their injury to other people who are injured, not as a peer mentor one-on-one, but going to support groups. I've developed the training program to coach them on how to develop a presentation, how to do it, all of these kinds of things to give them an opportunity to inspire and encourage others, but also it's a program that helps that individual get back some of that confidence they may have lost, through the injury and so forth. So this is the kind of thing that Hollister does besides manufacture products and so forth. So we're all about service.
That's fantastic, and we'll see you next year, and thank you for speaking with me, and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Speedy TV,
Live from Paralyzed Veterans of America's Health Summit.
delivering excellence, achieving state-of-the-art healthcare.
Speedy TV.
So this year at the Summit, the PVA is giving away what is called an Excellence Award. And they are doing this to nationally recognized clinicians for providing exceptional professional achievement, contributions, and advocacy for spinal cord injury, dysfunction, and multiple sclerosis healthcare. We already spoke with two of the award winners, and another one, Heidi Maloney, we caught up with earlier in the week, and this is what she had to say.
Now I'm here with another Excellence Award winner, Heidi Maloney. How you doing, Heidi?
I'm fine, thank you.
Congratulations, you won the Nurse Award. Is that right?
Yes, I did, and I'm very appreciative of that, of the recognition. It's amazing.
What are the thoughts going through your mind after winning an award like that? What kind of work do you do that led to you winning this award?
Well, my thought is that this is an amazing honor, and there are many of my colleagues that deserve this similar honor, so to be chosen is kind of amazing. So I am a nurse. I'm a nurse practitioner, and my practice really is taking care of patients. Probably 90% of my time is spent hands-on patient care, taking care of patients in the outpatient setting and in the inpatient setting. And what does that mean? It's really it's really helping them self-manage their disease. So I'm more like the coach. I am more like the cheerleader, saying, yeah, you got it, you can do this, and giving them the tools to do it. And that's where I get my biggest satisfaction, when someone has good outcomes or can come back and say that something I help them with makes a difference in their quality of life.
That's fantastic, and I just talking with you briefly, you seem very passionate about what you do. You seem like a people person.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice, Nick, that you noticed that, because, oh my God, I am. Yeah. I've been a nurse for over 30 years. You can tell by some of the gray hair, but that may not be the giveaway. Thanks. But I've been a nurse a long, long time, and frankly, I've been in MS, multiple sclerosis nursing, almost that entire time. I've been a neurology nurse since 1979. My first practice was an inpatient setting. I practiced there for 6 years, and then I went to a research setting. I worked at the National Institutes of Health, and I worked with Dr. Henry McFarland. I worked with their multiple sclerosis area, then went back to school to educate myself because I felt the need to do that, got a PhD, and went to work at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, which is an amazing place to work.
So where does the PVA come in? How do you work with them?
How does the PVA come in? Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I first met the PVA when I became a nurse at the VA, because the VA and the PVA are joined at the hip, frankly. I mean, the PVA allows us to practice at the best we can, the fullest extent of our practicability is allowed by the PVA, because they have regulations, they have stipulations on how to deliver care and how patients should receive care. So I see them as the Bible. I mean, they've written books about this. Not only do they support the patients and they support our care, how do they support me in general, or in specifically? Little things like giving guidelines, clinical guidelines, support like coming to a conference like this, and supporting my funding to this conference is really very important to my education. And then how do they support the patients in our clinic? We've had our clinic overhauled by the PVA in some ways. We've had the director is in discussions with the PVA on how to have a bowel and bladder room where we can do bowel and bladder care. We have an infusion clinic where we can give infusions. The PVA donated a flat screen TV. So that, I mean, that to the big picture, the great picture of overseeing general care, to the small things like offering equipment and televisions. So the PVA is very, very significant.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
What do you think about the summit this year?
The offerings look very exciting. The PVA has built this summit from 3 years ago, from the beginning to now, and I see it as a great vision.
Has it kept getting better and bigger throughout the years?
Absolutely, of course it has.
And what do you hope to get out of your summit experience? Anything specific, or do you plan on just kind of soaking it all in?
Oh, more than soaking it all in. I mean, much more than that. First of all, there's the networking opportunities that are probably really amazing here. Being able to meet with my colleagues on the West Coast and consolidate our thoughts. And then the learning. I mean, I'm looking forward to going to sessions on metabolic syndrome. I'm looking forward to going to sessions on bladder management specifically, because that's a big deal for my patients. I want to take home something, and I think I will.
So people who are watching on TV right now and are kind of on the fence, you know, clinicians or anybody who is really deciding if they want to be here next year, why should they be here?
Oh, they should absolutely come to this. For all the reasons I said, the educational opportunities. This is soup to nuts. Absolutely soup to nuts, and state of the art when you think about the care of patients with spinal cord injury, multiple sclerosis, ALS. This is where it happens. And you know what? This is multidisciplinary. I don't know that you get that in a lot of other conferences. You're going to see me, a nurse. You're going to see a physician, a rehab specialist, a social worker, a nutritionist. You're going to see them all come together for the same objective, enhancing patient care.
Well, this is fantastic. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and your passion is absolutely contagious. And I know you have to run because you're a speaker right now, so thank you and enjoy your summit experience.
Thank you, Nick, very much. And I appreciate this award. I just can't tell you how much I value this.
Thank you very much. Okay, and we're back at the expo, and I'm speaking with Quantum, and they're actually one of the sponsors this year. And right next to me is one of the national spokesperson, Brian Anderson. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So how are you enjoying the summit so far?
I'm enjoying it. It's pretty cool. Some new, cool, neat things to look at.
Always, every year. Can you tell us a little bit about what Quantum Rehab does?
Well, Quantum Rehab is a high-end mobility company. We specialize in making pretty awesome wheelchairs, whether you need a head array or each product is customized to the patient. And the type of people that use our products would be like Christopher Reeve's type wheelchairs, higher end rehab.
And what are you in right now? And I guess can you walk us through all of the different like benefits and I don't even know what I'm looking at here, but it looks really cool.
Well, this is the Q6 Edge that I'm sitting in, and we have the new QLogic 2 drive control system, and we also have the new seating system, which is True Balance 3. We call it TB3.
So what does that mean? Like a new seating system. What's new about the seating system?
Basically, I guess 3 parts to a wheelchair. You have the base, which is from the seat down. Then you have the seating system, which is the seat up. And then you have the drive control, which are the computer, the brains of it all. And the base is always the same, whether you have the big tires, the little tires, or whatnot. But if you look around, if it's a Q6 Edge, it's always the same. Then up top, that's what's custom. So if you need higher end or lower end like me, I just get a basic seat and a back. But the True Balance is for a really high-end, difficult-to-fit patient or easy to fit. And the great thing about it is you can grow it, meaning everything's adjustable. So a lot of therapists always, are always saying we need more adjustability, more adjustability. Well, this seating system does that. And you can adjust the arms in, out, up, down, farther in, whatever you need. The seat pan you can widen as you grow or get bigger, or you can lengthen as you get older or whatever you need. Same thing with the backrest. Everything is sectional, very easily adjustable, so that most technicians, clinicians will be able to just do it on their own.
Looks like a great chair, man.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you partnered up with Quantum Rehab?
Well, after I got blown up in 2007, I came out on the cover of Esquire magazine. And in that issue, it stated that I wanted to do a lot of cool things and tried a bunch of different opportunities. And Dick McLean, the marketing manager, saw me on the cover of Esquire magazine. And he called me up and he said, hey, I saw you on the cover of Esquire magazine. First off, I'd like to say thank you for your service. And then the next question he asked me was, I see you're sitting in a Q6000. I'm like, a what? And he goes, the wheelchair you're sitting in. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, how do you like it? I'm like, oh, I like it. It's like a tank. It goes wherever I want it to go and gave me my freedom. So then he asked me if I'd like to be the spokesperson. And I had no idea what I was getting into, but I really enjoy the job, and it's great. It's a great company to work for, and we change people's lives.
So what kind of things do you do as the spokesperson for this company? What do you do day to day?
Well, at first I started off just using my image and going to trade shows, and I was living in Chicago, and they were using me anytime they needed me, which wasn't much, and I was getting bored. So I decided to move out to headquarters, Pennsylvania, Scranton area. And I started going to work every day, getting involved, learning more about the products and what goes into them. And then they started asking my input, and all of a sudden I kind of have this hand in research and development. And then I also help market them. Well, it's not like I approve anything, but they definitely ask my opinion on things. So I get to help input in the design. I get to help input in like neat little tricks, like a little clock or an odometer or a speedometer, stuff like that. On the Lightstream, our manual chair product, I was like, hey, why don't we put a strap on the seat so it's easier to lift, fold? And they were like, that's actually a good idea. And the next thing I know, it's on the chairs. So I get to do that. And then next thing I get to do is test the product. And boy, I literally put them through a hell.
Every day.
I beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
And,
great.
one of my goals was to try to make a product that would stand up to what soldiers would put them through. A lot of these guys coming back from the war aren't severely injured. I mean, yes, they're missing limbs and stuff, but they don't have a spinal cord injury. And so we're taking these chairs and just putting them through hell, beating the crap out of them. And I wanted to make something that is going to go and stand up to that. And I think we've done that with the design and whatnot.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. And I saw that you were signing a book. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, a few years back I wrote a book called No Turning Back, and it's kind of about my experiences in life, not just in war or rehab or getting blown up, although the first 2 chapters is me getting blown up and rehab. But then after that it just kind of goes back and forth through my whole life about experiences I've had, funny stories I've gone through, and lessons that I've learned. And I really didn't want it to be like a heavy read or like make people cry. That wasn't my intention. And it doesn't. People say it's a very easy read, and they can hear me speaking as they're reading, especially the people that know me. So it's really cool. And I just put it out there like, hey, let's see what happens, If it helps people, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So, well, thank you very much for speaking with us. What would you like to say to the people watching? Why should they be here at this summit next year?
PVA is a great event. You always get to see what's new, what's hot, what's out there, and you get a chance to drive them around, see what they can do for you, see how they fit for you, see what, just get a whole good experience on what's out there, what's new, and see if you want to be a part of that.
Well, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of the summit and continue doing great work with Quantum.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I will.
And I'm here with Matt Weaver and more from Quantum and more features and benefits of their chairs.
This is our new True Balance 3 seating system. It's a modular system that allows us to independently do the seat width, seat depth, back width, and back height. Regardless of the client's size, we can fit the chair to them. It includes a width adjustable back and armrests that will widen to adjust to the client's needs without requiring any parts in case you've mismeasured. The seat pan is width adjustable. It actually lets the therapist or end user know what the seat width is. You can see it overlaps, so you can easily widen the seat pan, enabling you to have a wide seat and a narrow back, or a wide back and narrow seat, but it can all be fine-tuned at the final fit. With our power leg rest system, if you watch the calf pads actually increase their height to make contact with the legs as you come up, so the calves are fully supported. And at the end, you'll notice that you get further articulation or lengthening of the leg rest system, so the client's knees are not buckling when they're elevated. You can also link the backrest and the leg rest together. So they move simultaneously, which is a little bit more comfortable when you're elevating your legs. So this package with a full recline, full tilt, elevating legs, and a seat elevator still lets you get down to 18 inches off of the ground. So it really lets the end user get underneath tables, but also enables them to get in a high position like Brian's in now for functional activities, speaking, seeing somebody eye to eye. Some of the highlights of our new QLogic 2 electronic system are a 40% larger screen, which gives the end user much easier visibility as to what function the chair is in. It's very easy for them to see any type of speed selection or where the battery is as far as the battery charge goes. Up top here This small dot is an ambient light sensor, so if you go outside and it's bright, the screen will automatically brighten, or in a dark room will dim. So the contrast of the screen adapts easily to the light environment that it's in. One of the other highlights of this system is that it has an Apple chip integrated into it for phone access, and also has Bluetooth standard for computer access or other devices.
We've got an entire generation of men and women who have seen war. They're going to need voices.
Paralyzed Veterans of America represents them.
We're going to make sure that the Veterans Affairs gives them everything that they're entitled to.
Changing lives, building futures. That's Paralyzed Veterans of America.
All right, welcome back. I'm speaking with Dr. Ken Lee, one of the speakers here at the summit. You just got done speaking. It's great that you had the chance to speak with us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you were speaking on? I heard it was acupuncture.
Yes, I was invited to speak on acupuncture and how it affects spinal cord injury patients, and also to assist many of the staff members in the VA system and non-VA system, how they can start a clinic going within their own area.
Okay. Can you kind of hit some bullet points? How can someone actually do that?
Okay. From opening up a clinic, because it's still an alternative medicine, not a mainstream medicine, yet it's still a popular medicine, you have to start very slow. You have to start educating people that are around you. You can't just go say, I'm an acupuncturist and I want to do an acupuncture. You have to convince the other people that this is the right kind of a forte to have within your medical center. So first thing to do is educate that's everybody around you. Have a grand round, bring guest speakers in, show them what an acupuncture is like. And then once everybody's primed and they learn what acupuncture is, then what you want to do is put together a proposal of a plan, how to do it, and stay very focused initially. So for me, I started as spinal cord only and pain management only, and certain number of clinics per week, period, which is very manageable, small, and also whoever wants to check up on me on what I do, they can actually oversee it because it's not big. And that's how we started, and it turned out to be good.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, I know that you weren't always sold on acupuncture, and I've never tried acupuncture. So does it work, and should I try?
The funny story is I was a non-believer in acupuncture. It was Wisconsin PVA members that actually came to me and said, "Doctor, please get some acupuncture clinic going here." And I kept telling him it's not worth it, it doesn't work, it's just a myth. However, they bothered me so much that I decided to actually take a course, a one-year course, to disprove that acupuncture doesn't work. The funny thing is, the first day I went to that course, I volunteered to be a subject for them to try it on me, and it had a drastic effect on me that 2 nights I was there. And I realized that there is something to this. It's truly not a voodoo medicine. There's some basis behind this. So as I got into learning more about it throughout the whole year, I was convinced that I was wrong. And since then, I took acupuncture as a kind of a full-force mission to have it in our Milwaukee VA clinic. Incidentally, it was after I got the certification, it took another 2 years to convince everybody that we need to do acupuncture, get myself a privilege. And like I said, I didn't go with idea of educating people and staying focused. I went and big boom, let's do acupuncture, you know, this is what it is, and just kind of scared everybody.
Yeah. So what kind of benefits can someone with a spinal cord injury receive from acupuncture?
Pain relief is one of the biggest area to do treatment on. But for our guys, spasm is another area. Overuse syndrome, where they need a little more strengthening, but because of certain limitations they can't do, so I can help loosen up the muscles so they can actually do the exercise. But pain is the main area that I use the acupuncture for.
Now, outside of acupuncture, what other work do you do up in Milwaukee?
I founded a lot of sports programs, adaptive sports program, and that's what I'm known for. I love sports as a bottom line thing. To get our guys involved to do something, sometimes it's tough. I mean, these guys are in wheelchair all their lives. They're having tough time moving about. But if you introduce them to adaptive sports, they're springing up. They want to do other things after the sports.
And what other sports can people get involved in?
It's not just bike riding. We have an active bocce, basketball, quad rugby, things that you see in those of you who have gone to National Veterans Wheelchair Game. A lot of those activities, we do it in a smaller scale within our hospital. We have all the equipment to do so the patient don't have to have their own equipment even to do it.
I was told that you were in charge of the medical team for the wheelchair games. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I was asked to take over as a national medical director for the wheelchair game. Last director, Dr. Scott, retired. So I was honored to take the position. It was a lot of work, a lot of things to learn, but it's a very rewarding position and work for me to do, to work with 500 wheelchair athletes, 2,000 volunteers, and provide medical support. There's nothing better than a person who's into these type of activities.
Right. Now, there's a rumor going around that you occasionally dress up as a pirate or Fred Flintstone. Can you comment on that, please?
Oh, boy. I don't know where this all started. It was, I think it was in Denver. They, somewhere, they asked me if I could host or be the MC for the Kids' Day. So I did, and that day I just happened to have the Mr. Incredible t-shirt and little things. So I wore that. And the kids fell in love with it, so they keep asking me back for the following year to do. So I dressed up in Batman costume one time. I think I got dehydrated because the latex thing was so hot. And that was in Pittsburgh. And then in Richmond, I actually was I forgot what I was dressed. Oh yeah, Flintstone. Yeah, unfortunately, none of the kids knew who I was. That was tough. Except one kid recognized me as the guy in the cereal box. And this past game, I made some homemade costumes as a pirate, and I loved it. Yeah, my kids helped me put that together. It seems like all the audience and the kids loved it, so we had a great time then.
Any ideas of what you're going to dress up as next year?
Next year, so let's see. That will be at Philadelphia. So I gotta go as a kind of a overweight Rocky, or
cheesesteak.
Yeah, cheesesteak might not be a bad idea. Yeah, you're giving me ideas here. Right. Yeah, not sure. We'll see.
Well, we'll be waiting. We'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for speaking with us, and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Well, thank you very much.
Great. I'm here at the Expo portion of the PVA 2013 Summit and Expo, and I'm joined by Aaron Bloom. And Aaron, what do you have on right now?
This is the Exo Bionic suit.
And what does it do?
It's a device that helps people with spinal cord injuries participate in rehab and walk with the assistance of this device.
How easy is it to use and get around in?
It only took 1 or 2 tries to learn how to use this device.
So it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And how does it feel when it's on you and it's moving, and like, what is it hard? Is it heavy? Is it light?
It feels strange at first. You have to learn to trust the device and believe that it's going to hold your weight and support you. But once you get over that, it's very exciting. It's a thrill to be upright and have the mobility that's not too far from your thoughts when you're in a wheelchair. It's not that hard to operate. I really was able to pick it up very quickly, and with the support of the company, I've been able to use it regularly, and it's made a significant increase in my quality of life.
That's great. Is this your first time at the summit? What do you think about the summit this year?
Yeah, this is definitely my first time at a summit like this, and I'm very impressed with all the companies and products available, and I hope to be able to come again in the future. It's very impressive.
What do you hope to get out of this summit? Anything specific, or are you just kind of like soaking it all in? What kind of contacts do you want to make?
Yeah, I'm really hoping to meet a lot of interesting people and hear other people's stories and learn from that and be able to share mine, because that's something that really excited me about coming out to this event. So I'm happy to be here.
What do you think about the PVA's role in putting this event on?
I think it's amazing. I wish there were more of these types of events around the country, and they happen more often, because it's an important cause, and it needs a lot of attention and support. So this is really amazing.
Great. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and enjoy the rest of your summit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I'm joined here by two doctors, Dr. Chris Bever and Dr. Jody Hasselkorn, and they're on the program committee here at this year's summit. Doctors, great to have you here with us, speaking with us. Can you talk a little bit about your experience in the program committee this year? I can start with you, Doctor.
So the program committee was chaired by Dr. Paul Gutierrez, who's been a terrific chair and organized things very well. We had a meeting a couple of months ago where we went through abstracts and put the program together. So I think it was a very well run and smooth process that resulted in the great program that we've had in the last few days.
And how was your experience?
Oh, fantastic. So the program committee really strives to try to get a balance between sort of research, so the cutting edge, bleeding edge information, as well as very practical information for people with spinal cord injury, MS, ALS, and other upper motor neuron disorders.
This has to be one of the hardest jobs, deciding what you want to bring in, what you want to talk about. How do you guys go through this process and put this whole program together?
So I think we're first of all trying to get new advances in front of the audience that we have here. There are a lot of developments taking place, particularly in the pharmacologic treatment of multiple sclerosis, so we try to include in the program aspects of that. There are a number of ongoing areas of research advances independent of treatment that we try to include in the program, and then this meeting is unique in bringing together these different groups of providers who care for people with spinal cord injuries and other spinal cord disorders, including multiple sclerosis, and therefore we provide training and education related to the management of those different diseases to try to sort of bridge between the different disciplines.
Perfect. Would you like to add anything?
Oh, just that we're very, very fortunate in that, this is a large community of VA providers who are really dedicated to caring for individuals with spinal cord injury and disease. And so we get great content. And then the hard part is, as you suggested, just, there's not enough time to select everything.
Yeah. I know it's a bit early, but have you guys started planning for next year? I don't know if you can say anything, but can we expect some different things for next year?
Always different things and always great things. Yes, we have started, so it's exciting.
Perfect.
So we had an informal meeting of our group to talk about the program for next year, and I think there are some things that we did this year that could be expanded actually. There's a lot of interest, particularly in cell-based therapies related to MS and spinal cord injury, and a number of areas that I think we can expand from what we did this year.
Perfect. I know you both work for the MS Center of Excellence in different sides of the country. Can you talk a little bit about your work there?
So the MS Center of Excellence East directs a network of centers in the eastern United States. We have a program which covers clinical care coordination through those networks. We have an education program working with providers in local facilities to try to increase their knowledge about multiple sclerosis care and particularly new therapies that are available. And then we're promoting research related to the needs of veterans with multiple sclerosis.
So on the West Coast, I guess we don't even necessarily distinguish so closely. I mean, there's only two of us, so we work very closely together, East and West. And we are responsible for Visions 12 through 21, I think. And we have 4 cores, so the clinical core, which really establishes these regional hub sites throughout the country, as well as an education core, which is responsible for educating providers and patients with MS as well as their families, and then an informatics core and the research core. So,
if people would like to learn how to contact you guys, how can they do so? Feel free to plug away.
The website, www.va.gov/ms.
Great. Okay. And to kind of bring it all back together to the summit, why should people be here each and every year, sponsors, clinicians, at the PVA Summit?
Again, I think this is kind of a unique meeting of different disciplines. It covers spinal cord injury, multiple sclerosis, ALS, and related areas. In addition, it's a meeting designed to go across disciplines. So we have physicians, we have nurses, we have social workers, psychologists, a broad range of different providers. So I think that is a really unique combination that you don't see at other meetings.
Perfect. Would you like to add anything?
Just to echo that and to say this is just where it's at. You know, we have VA central office here, from spinal cord injury to neurology to rehabilitation, and we have cutting edge research as well as really very practical clinical care and industry. And so it's a great mix.
Great. Well, looking forward to what you guys provide next year. Thank you for speaking with us. And I know you have to leave, but enjoy and safe trip home.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us over the last 3 days. That wraps up our coverage of the 2013 Paralyzed Veterans of America's Summit and Expo here in Orlando, Florida. If you would like more information, head over to pva.org. And for the entire Speedy TV crew, Arturo, our cameraman, David, our editor, Lonnie, our producer, and myself, Nick, we'll see you next year.
Speedy TV, a service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.